Valerie suddenly looked around, confused. I forgot the cucumber sandwiches. I'll go, said Charlie, rising. Valerie stayed him with a hand on his knee. No, you've travelled so far. Have a rest. She wandered out, leaving them alone, watching each other. They'd have to do small talk now. You made it then, he said. How dumb was that? Obviously, she said, taking an exaggerated slurp of her tea. She did it to irritate him. It was habitual. Any needly thing she could do to put him on edge. Best to get in there first, she found. He gave as good as he got. Can't get much past you. He gave her an unimpressed stare. You haven't changed. It's only been a year. What were you expecting? Hardly expecting, just hoping. Knob. This was the Charlie she was used to, not the broken shell of last year. He'd stood taller again, too, when he'd walked through the door. Perhaps going away had been for the best. And I know why my shirt's wrinkled. What's your excuse? You might have made an effort. He was admonishing her. He could stuff that. She shrugged at him and rolled her eyes for good measure. Maybe it's called fashion, Grandad, she said. He wasn't convinced. It was an original Catherine Hamnet she'd found in Oxfam, with use a condom emblazoned across it, which, while sound advice, was, on reflection, not necessarily right for the occasion. At least it was clean-ish. Have you seen her urn is behind you? Becca blurted out in a loud whisper. It had been in her eyeline all the time, and she needed to share. He gave her a steely look. Of course I've seen. Unfazed, she gave him the bug eye. On the mantelpiece, though. He leaned in and said quietly, not wanting to partake in the stage whispering, she didn't want to be buried, remember? Becca didn't remember. She'd point-blank refused to discuss the post-death part with Ali. It hadn't occurred to her that Charlie had been willing. If it makes Valerie happy, what does it matter? Didn't matter to Ali, other than she didn't want worms going through her. Becca gave a proper shudder now. Ooh. The twinge at the side of Charlie's mouth said grossing her out amused him. She turned away from him then. It was too soon for jokes. So much of it was still raw. Valerie appeared from the hallway, a plate of sandwiches in her hand. Now then, Becca, are there any nice men around for you at the moment? Charlie's mouth spread to a wider grin as he settled back into his chair and drank his tea. He was only missing the popcorn. When she and Ali had lounged around here as teens, this would have been a regular question from Valerie, an opportunity to snigger about boys and discuss crushes. Valerie wouldn't be intense about it. It was just fun chatter. Right now, though, not so much. Valerie seemed to have forgotten girl code. Not asking about boys in front of a boy was definitely carved in stone somewhere. Surely it was a basic law, like the first rule of Fight Club, along with don't sleep with a friend's BF, don't sleep with a friend's ex, and don't sleep with a friend's dad. Becca might be quite louche in some ways, but she knew her girl code. Well, she began. Yes, Becca, how are things on the man front? Charlie contributed, and she was inclined to pelt her cucumber sarnie at him. He was enjoying watching her squirm. And then it dawned on her. She needn't squirm. She was a grown-ass woman who had relationships, admittedly very brief ones sometimes, but she was absolutely capable of attracting a man, and she should own it. Sitting up straight, she spoke to Valerie, soundly ignoring Smugface on the other side of the table. Well, actually, Valerie, I've been seeing a decent guy for the last 2 months. Valerie's face went up a rung on the ladder of pleased. God, Becca loved this woman. Becca vowed there and then to be more Valerie, not bearing grudges against anyone. Okay, mostly anyone. Becca flicked Charlie a quick look. He wasn't looking so smug now. Ha! He'd clearly wanted her to be as single and sad as he was. "Tell us about him," Valerie urged. "Yes, do," concurred Charlie, his blue eyes vaguely mocking her under their black lashes. "Well, it's still quite new." "2 months, dear, that's not so new." Valerie was trying to be reassuring. "And a record, surely," Charlie added. He leaned across and snaffled another couple of sandwiches and a scone. He was almost close enough for Becca to punch him in the ear. Almost, but not quite.